So, a very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen out there. So, today I'm going to talk about my research, which is the effects of preschool architectural characteristics on the growth of children. So, I just want to talk about, first of all, since preschools in Sri Lanka nowadays are not up to the expectation when compared to preschools in other countries, the rate of parents sending their children to preschools have drastically reduced over the couple of past years. And also one of the main reasons for this has been that preschools in Sri Lanka are not meeting the proper expectations. And so having to think of like what could be done to avoid this situation, like what could we as designers do to avoid this situation. So I came across this problem. So the problem that occurred to me when doing this research is the lack of interest, like I said before, parents having to send their children to preschools, and the lack of children also having any interest to go to preschools. So I have two cousin sisters who are preschoolers. They are opposing every day early in the morning to go to school. So I remember when I was schooling, I remember when I was in preschool, I used to love to go to school. So the reason for this, I think, was because my preschool was mostly in an open area, and also it was surrounded with nature. So like, what is the main reason for children nowadays to oppose going to preschools? Since education is especially, preschool education is especially essential for children nowadays, I had to find a solution for this, like what could be done to minimize this situation from happening. So talking about objectives and the pedagogical theories that can be assessed to achieve these desires, the desired outcome of this problem statement would be, so the objectives are to examine the effects of architectural characteristics on the growth of children. So furthermore, I dived into examining the relationship between the spatial arrangement of preschools and growth of children, and also to investigate on the influence of interior colors and lighting on the growth of children, and to investigate the effects of sustainable design methods in preschools that affect the growth of children. So to conduct this case study, I utilized this research. I utilized case studies from both international as well as local platforms, and also apart from that, I used surveys, online surveys, to gather information, realistic information from expertise from preschool field. And also while doing this, I also conducted face-to-face interviews, also to gain proper physical experience from expertise. And talking about the limitations when conducting this research, I had a huge time constraint, and also this had to be completed in a certain given period of time. So also lack of previous research that was conducted. There was absolutely, I wouldn't say no, but then I would say a little bit of research that was done on this case study. So that's what I had to go and experience live, take live information and do this research. Yes, talking about the discussions and findings. So I took 4 preschools into consideration to properly examine what architectural factors and characteristics that could be utilized to uplift or improve in order to bring out the desired educational outcome for preschools. So the first characteristic I determined was spatial arrangement, because spatial arrangement in preschools is especially essential, since the space should be designed in a way that connects the environment and the nature with the child. So children at an early age, when their brain is still immature, they tend to need a space, a wide space to move around, to run, to jump, and do all of that stuff. So also they need adequate space that supports their nature of being active. So how could this be achieved? How could spatial arrangement be organized in a way that helps these things to be achieved? So the very first thing is zoning. The very first factor I came across is zoning. I realized that zoning in this case works when you design a well-defined zone. Teachers can often organize environment that energizes children to engage in different activities, and it also allows them to figure out where and when the activities are taking place. which is basically they are building their responsibility, they are building their character as a responsible child. Then comes the second factor I realized, which helps in spatial arrangement, traffic flow. So creating a non-congested, obstruction-free space will allow children to move around freely, which creates another factor of which installs a very secure environment around them. It makes them comfortable to go to school, go to preschool. Then the final factor I realized for spatial arrangement that is needed is the size and scale of furniture. So creating child-sized comfortable furniture is especially essential since it allows children to be associated with the environment. It allows them to feel comfortable, and also it possesses a sense of control over them in terms of learning encounters. So next, talking about characteristics, architectural characteristics that I realized should be improved in preschool environments is the colors and lighting. So colors and lighting usually plays a major role when it comes to preschools as well. So it is universally known that children from ages 6 to, from 3 to 6 usually are sensitive to visual experience, visual appearance rather than forms. So if we take colors into consideration, utilizing colors in preschools will improve the learning encounters, and it makes a very inviting and a dynamic environment for children. So, but how does this work? First, do all colors help in creating this type of environment in preschools? Well, no, not all colors help. So if you take cool colors into consideration, cool colors like blues, greens, purples, they will inspire a sense of tranquility in children. So, which means cool colors will help children to feel warm. It will help them to feel cool around the environment. Then taking warm colors into consideration. Warm colors like reds, oranges, yellows will bring inspiration and excitement as well as joy and warmth to advance social interaction between children. So this helps children to interact with each other, also with the outer, which helps them in future to interact with their outer society. Finally, coming to neutral colors, so helping a factor for colors, neutral colors such as whites, grays, and delicate pastels. It serves as a calming scenery and keeps the visual adjust in the environment, in the preschool environment. Then we come to lighting. So talking about lighting, lighting is if you take lighting into consideration, in order to make a conductive learning environment for children, both natural as well as artificial environment should be especially used in preschool environments. So natural lighting usually allows children to openly interact with nature, and it also allows them to build a sense of imagination. It ponders interest, and it empowers them to install their investigation abilities. Then when talking about artificial lighting helps in providing them to have enough visual comfort, because sometimes natural lighting may not be sufficient. So therefore utilizing artificial lighting is also essential, as it improves their flexibility in learning and also helps in wayfinding. Next, moving on to the third element, the third architectural characteristic that I realized lacks in preschools is the use of sustainable design methods. So incorporating sustainable design methods could be using natural ventilation methods, adding indoor plants, trees, and etc. So these usually will stimulate the behavior of children, and it will install an energetic and an enthusiastic behavior, and also in a manner that therefore it will improve their health as well as physical development. It helps children to concentrate better and focus well on their studies, which once again helps the designers to receive the desired outcome. So with that, we can conclude saying that focusing on preschool architecture is essential, as it influences drastically on a child's growth in terms of their mental, physical, and cognitive health as well as well-being. So if we talk about recommendations, we can suggest that using child-friendly colors, natural lighting, as much as possible, using natural lighting, using artificial lighting as much as possible, will be helpful and will help the designers to achieve their desired outcome. So all the mothers and the mothers to be, it's up to you to think of the factors that could be utilized to improve the environment, the preschool environments, if you want your kids to have a proper learning experience. Thank you.